Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Kabir Considers. In this video, I'm going to react to Hurricane Helene, or is it Helene? I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but I've been hearing about it this weekend and it's been quite severe. Like, I think there's fatalities now. Like, I think it is hurricane season, or would hurricane, like, almost in October. Like, hurricane season should have finished by now, shouldn't it? Because wasn't there was Hurricane Irene, I believe, a few months ago, or was it another one? Like, and I think that was in hurricane season, but you know, we're in autumn now, or fall as Americans call it. So is it normal for hurricanes to still be happening, you know, in the Florida region? Yeah, let's find out what's going on here.
It is making its way through Georgia right now as a tropical storm. More than 60 million people are currently under watches and
60
warnings.
million.
The system made landfall in western Florida in its Big Bend region last night as a Category 4 hurricane. At least 4 people have died as a result of the storm.
Oh my God.
The governors of Florida, Georgia, Alabama, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia all declared emergencies in their states.
Oh man.
CBS News national correspondent Manuel Bojorquez has been tracking the storm from Tampa, Florida, for us. So, how's Tampa looking these days?
Well, you know, the sun is out. It's a dry day now, but the damage is done. If you take a look over my shoulder here, you can see the residual flooding that was left behind by Hurricane Helene. In fact, we are standing right now on a bridge that connects mainland Tampa to Davis Islands, and that is a place where early this morning firefighters told us they were still having to conduct water rescues, moving people out using high-profile vehicles. So this right now is being used just by emergency personnel for the most part. There is a level 1 trauma facility, Tampa General Hospital on the islands there as well. They put up a wall to protect against the storm surge, and they say they got 4 feet of water up onto that wall.
4 feet of water. That is a lot of water. That's above waist height for me.
In the overnight hours, it was impressive to watch where we were yesterday at Ballast Point.
Wow, it makes history as the strongest hurricane on record to hit Florida's Big Bend
Park, which is just down that way, how quickly after about 6 o'clock or so the water started to rise. Today it has started to recede, but again, for many people who had to be rescued from their homes, the damage is done. They are weighing really how to clean up at this point. The city of Tampa said this morning there were about 87 rescues so far, and that is something that is being replicated not just here in Hillsborough County, but in all the counties up and down this area, up into the Big Bend of Florida. Anne-Marie?
One of the things that we knew as we were watching this storm is that
87 rescues. So if those 87 people weren't able to be rescued, I mean, the rate of fatalities could be a lot higher than the 4.
that it's really wide, so there's a sort of a vast area impacted by the rain and the wind.
What I can tell you about the one death that was reporting in this area, it was last night. Apparently, a big road sign collapsed onto a vehicle as somebody was driving. And I know that the early deaths that were reported in Georgia, 2 deaths, the first reported there, and of course, unfortunately, the number will climb, was possibly a tornado that was spun up by Helene as it churned through the area. But yeah, the size of the storm is just what is so impressive and unfortunate, because it has the ability to impact many, many states at one time. Here we are in Florida dealing with the effects. Georgia and the Carolinas are right now getting all that water and having flash flood emergencies.
CBS
look how much
News
water
correspondent
was
Tom
there.
Hansen has been in Tallahassee, Florida for us all night. So, Tom, what kind of damage are you seeing there? A lot of cleanup going on behind you, as I see.
Oh, that's absolutely right, Juliet. If you can envision this was a 60 to 70 foot tree that fell onto this apartment, and we have been covering the damage.
That roof is going to be completely, like, really damaged.
That we've been seeing pockets in Tallahassee, not widespread. You know, fortunately for this largely densely populated area, the damage has just been in little isolated pockets around the city. The main concern here, though, if you want to look over my shoulder this way, power lines, downed power lines leading to widespread outages, at least in the early part of the day. Now, at last check, the number has dropped from over 1 million this morning across the state of Florida down to the 800,000 range of people who are without power. So it is starting.
there's 800,000 people that haven't got electricity. Man, like, is it me, or are these hurricanes becoming more and more severe on a yearly basis? Or have they always been this bad? I don't know why, but it just feels like over the last 3 years, they've just become more and more severe. Like, do you agree?
Starting to decrease, but there is still going to be a long path to get things up and running when it comes to electricity. Utility companies saying that it could potentially take days for power to be 100% restored to the state. Juliet.
All right, Tom, thanks so much. Power there with that leaf blower and all of the crews doing what they need to do. But thank you so much, Tom. We'll let you go and appreciate your reporting for us. And as expected, Helene's damage is leaving a lot of people without power right now. This map shows you millions across the southeast in the dark. Over a million customers are hoping to get their lights back on soon in Florida. So you can see here a majority of those are in the Big Bend area where Helene made landfall. And Florida Governor Ron DeSantis just started speaking moments ago with an update. Let's listen in.
Everyone is in agreement that power restoration as rapidly as possible really helps with the response and the recovery. You know, you've seen in other parts of the country just recently, people weeks without power for like a Category 1 storm.
Is it not like, I don't know, like, shouldn't there be some kind of backup power source? Like, why is power like getting knocked out to so many people? Like, is it because the power lines going down? Is there any way for them to protect against this?
Here in Florida, we've worked really hard to not have that happen, and that has happened in the past, even here many years ago. So we've had great partners with FPL, TECO, and then Duke. And I think you saw Duke had amassed a lot of linemen in different parts of the state. I think they had Tropicana Field, massive numbers of folks. And then they had at the Villages, they had a big area there too. So we've worked closely with Melissa Satius, who's the head of Duke Energy here in Florida. I want to thank her for really leaning in and taking these storms very seriously and really wanting to provide really strong service for their customers, because, you know, you just take it for granted. You know, you turn the light on, you get the charge. But when times like this happen and you can get power on quickly, that really is something that I think a lot of people appreciate. So, Melissa, why don't you come up and update on your efforts?
Man, if you're in Florida right now watching this, or in one of the affected states, how are you coping? Like, you know, are you managing, like, do you have food? Do you have, like, water, clean water to drink?
All right, Florida Governor DeSantis giving an update on the power outages, the serious nature of what happens after Helene hit that area. And he says the cleanup will continue for days, and he thanks all of the people and the rescuers there in his area.
A man and his dog got a life-saving lift after getting stuck off the coast of Florida as Helene approached. His 36-foot sailboat became disabled and began taking on water in the choppy sea.
No.
Well, a Coast Guard member came down from a helicopter and rescued them. The man and his dog were then taken to a nearby airport for medical services. The Coast Guard says they're reportedly both okay. Just incredible video, and we are happy that this rescue went so well.
Yeah. Wow, look at the... Man, those cars, it's going to get into the engine, everything. Oh, wow. Yep, that looks like 4 feet. You cannot go anywhere, really. Like, you're kind of stuck in place there. Yeah, I mean, aside from flood barriers, there's not really much you can do. Wow, look how much water. Yeah, and even if you've got like high-powered water pumps, you're not getting rid of all this water. There's just no way. Man, there's going to be so much property damage, you know, the foundations. Boat smash. Oh my god. How did the boats get there? Were they parked out front and then the water moved them into the homes, or were they literally at sea and the water moved them all the way there? Crazy.
Bad inside, dude.
From Florida
Oh,
to
my
Virginia,
God.
millions in the American Southeast are confronting the scale of their losses.
Damage.
This is took my whole life.
Oh no.
But we will come back. Good Lord goes before us. And we will come back.
Man, I pray she's got some kind of insurance, honestly, you know. Because, wow, man, these houses have been just ripped to shreds. Like, it looks like a tornado is hit.
They've seen hurricanes before, but none like Helene.
This is the cost of living on Florida's beaches. This is a coastal town. It's the cost. This is the devastation that you go through
Yeah.
living in a coastal town.
Authorities said Sunday they were still in active search and rescue mode in many states, often without phone service, internet access, or any other kinds of communication.
Power went out, cell phone went out that early that morning, and so there's no way to talk to anyone. Some of the neighbors came and knocked on doors, and we sort of communicated with each other, pouring in the rain.
At its peak, 4.6 million households in the Southeast were without power. And as the day
Crazy.
began Sunday, 2.7 million customers were still in the dark.
So this has been really severe. Nearly 5 million people without power. That is a lot. That's a chunk of the country. You know, that's like, what, 5% of the country?
Local and state authorities, overwhelmed by the scale of the disaster,
Maybe
have turned to the
2.5%.
Army Corps of Engineers to help restore failed water systems. Some of the worst rains hit western North Carolina, the state's mountain region. It got hit with 76 centimeters of rain. That forced the closure of more than 400 roads in that state alone.
There's probably 50 trees blocking my neighbor from coming out. I started helping them yesterday. The neighbors at the other end of the road, we got us out, but the other neighbors are trapped.
Authorities have started tallying up the financial cost of Hurricane Helene and its aftermath.
Billions.
The bill to repair or replace the destroyed homes, bridges, roads, and other infrastructure will be at least $15 billion.
Whew, 15 billion. Oh my
Authorities
God.
believe, and could run as high as $100 billion. David Aiken, Global News, Ottawa.
Oh my God. And I watched the news, but they've not really spoken much about this here. This is like a really big story. I mean, 5 million people without power, like, you know, communications, internet. That is a lot. That is a lot of people. Population of America, let's say it's 200 million. That's like 2.5% of the entire country. I don't know, like I was thinking, is there a way that you can have, you know, some kind of backup generator system that, you know, for emergency power, but, you know, to fit out generators for the whole state of Florida and Alabama, all the other states, it's probably just not either financially possible or even realistically possible, because you would need to have massive generators pretty much on every street. You know, and the water would affect them too, because unless you kept the generators elevated, you know, well beyond, you know, the 4 feet or whatever limit, the height limit that the water gets to. Man, I suppose like the lady said, this is like the cost of living, you know, on the coast in Florida. It's sad though. Her house was just shredded. I just hope that, you know, that they're insured. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoy my videos, please help me out by liking and subscribing.